Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tarot. Thank you so much for always following and supporting this channel. The very moment you are watching this video is the right time for you to receive this message. On this channel, I always bring you guidance and insights about what is about to unfold in your life. When you open your heart and choose to trust in the positive, you are also connecting with a parallel world where your deepest wishes have already become reality. Today, through this reading, I want to help you uncover the possibilities that the future holds to support you on your journey of embracing love and manifesting your own desires. The theme of today's reading is messages from your guardian spirits about your future. I have prepared 3 cards corresponding to Pile 1, Pile 2, and Pile 3. Take a moment to listen closely to your intuition and choose the card that you feel most drawn to, and then click on the timestamp in the description to go directly to your chosen reading. Now, let us begin the reading with those of you who have already made your choice. Hello to those of you who have chosen Pile 1. Thank you for waiting patiently, and now I will begin the reading for everyone who felt drawn to this first pile. I hope that this reading will bring you healing, fresh realizations, and moments filled with love and tenderness. First, I want to tune in and convey what your guardians wish to say about who you are up until this present moment. The very first tarot card flew out the moment I began shuffling, and it arrived as a pivotal card, a key that unlocks an essential truth. This card is showing a vivid picture of the present, of the very moment you are living right now, while also reflecting the journey you have already walked. When I asked about you, about the person you have been and the person you are, it wasn't just your past that surfaced. What also shone through was your energy, your character, and everything you have built and shaped throughout your life path, all merging together to form the image that this card is presenting. What I feel immediately, so strongly and so clearly, is that you are someone with an extraordinary sense of independence. And the very first image that your guardians have transmitted to me is the image of a treasure seeker, a soul venturing out into the world in search of hidden riches. Alongside that, the Magician card has also appeared, reinforcing this vision even more. Because you truly are someone who constantly tests yourself, always ready to step into new experiences, always searching, and always affirming your identity. The treasure hunting I mention here is by no means limited to material pursuits, not merely about money or tangible possessions. While material gain can indeed be a part of it, what this card and the message want to emphasize is your spirit of adventure, your thirst for conquest, and your fierce desire to explore in every realm of life. You are someone who carries great ideals within you, visions that sometimes might sound dreamy, even fantastical, perhaps at times too far-reaching or tinged with otherworldly hues. Yet what is most important is that you do not allow those visions to remain only as imagination. You always find ways to draw them down into reality, to transform what once existed only as a dream into something tangible, something you can hold, something you can see, something you can touch. You pursue them relentlessly, with all the perseverance and determination that are uniquely yours. And that is precisely why, for example, if one day you were placed in an environment that was perfectly safe, perfectly comfortable, a place where others might exclaim, "Oh, this is wonderful. Just staying here would be enough to be happy for a lifetime." For you, if your heart does not stir, if that place does not truly resonate with your ideals and your aspirations, you would not be able to remain. Even if that environment promised you absolute security, assuring you that as long as you stayed there you would forever be safe, free from any worries or burdens, still, if it did not allow you to feel that you were living true to yourself, you would walk away. Because deep within, at the very core of your being, you are someone who pursues ideals, someone who only feels truly alive as long as you are moving along the path of searching, striving, and fulfilling your own longings. This is exactly what your guardians see, and these are the strongest, most defining qualities within your soul and within your journey up until now. Therefore, what shines so vividly through you is decisiveness and strength. You are someone who can astonish those around you with your bravery, with the courageous choices you make, decisions so bold that others may not even dare to imagine them. Beyond that, you hold within you the ability to continually renew yourself, to constantly refresh your life, as if with each step, with each stage of your journey, you consciously recreate your very path of living. This is also the very message your guardians are emphasizing now. As I mentioned from the very beginning, you carry within yourself a powerful spirit of independence, an intense energy of action, and above all, a yearning to seek the true meaning of comfort and peace within the soul. Perhaps that is why the image of the treasure hunter appeared right from the start, a seeker who never ceases searching, never ceases venturing forth in order to reach truth, to touch the very ideals that the heart has always longed for. When I say that you continuously renew your life, this does not come from a fleeting sense of boredom, nor is it because you're the type who merely chases after thrills, like someone addicted to strong sensations. Not at all. It is because within your heart there is always a vision, a picture you have painted, an ideal you have cherished, and you are determined to see it with your very own eyes in reality. You refuse to allow those things to remain only in the realm of imagination, unwilling to let them linger as nothing more than a beautiful dream that exists solely in your mind. You long to transform what is but fiction in thought into a story that becomes real. And you are someone who has the courage, the strength, and the resolve to follow that calling, to remain loyal to your instincts, and to live true to your authentic self. Moreover, you are not someone who merely dreams and then leaves it there. You possess the power to turn that longing into action. Even when there are those around you who have said you are reckless, that you act impulsively, that what you do lacks planning, you have silenced those voices through your very effort and through the results you have achieved. Because in truth, you are not someone who leaves everything to fate, nor do you live superficially. The appearance of the Nine of Pentacles here is evidence that you are someone who knows how to accumulate experience, who knows how to refine knowledge, who trains yourself with discipline and builds a solid foundation. You act with preparation, with cultivation, and every step, every experience you pass through has given you the grounding to reach a life of genuine freedom. Your guardians show that you are someone who holds an enduring strength, a patience that is admirable, yet at the same time you carry great delicacy and meticulousness. Within you exists both firmness and softness, resilience and flexibility. You are one who knows how to harmonize these dual aspects, strength and sensitivity, determination and grace, logic and subtlety. However, I also want to place emphasis on a very particular card, the one that leapt out at the very beginning when I first started the spread. This card reveals that, at present, you may be feeling as though something is standing right in front of you, as though your vision is blocked, the path ahead not yet visible. There is a possibility that in the recent past you have gone through an unexpected shift, perhaps a plan overturned or a direction that you were forced to change. And this has left you in a state where you feel as if you are being held back, unable to step forward freely just yet. I sense that there may be many different circumstances at play, but the common thread that the cards are showing is this. In your life, there seems to have been a very profound relationship, a deep bond built in the past that was still meant to carry into the future. Or perhaps an important tie, a vital connection in your journey that has suddenly been put on hold or even cut off entirely. This makes me feel as though a plan has been forced to stop halfway, like a journey that was progressing only to suddenly be halted. If you imagine that within your heart there is a map, then that map had once been drawn by you with great clarity, every path and every destination clearly marked. Yet now, it is as though one corner of that map has been soaked, blurred, leaving you unable to see the full picture the way you once did. At this moment, you feel uncertain, not exactly sure where you are standing upon that map, and not knowing which direction truly belongs to you. The Eight of Wands has appeared here, reflecting this state very clearly. You feel as though you are wandering in a fog, moving forward yet not knowing where you truly belong. And yet, even within this haze of confusion, what emerges strongly is the Page of Wands. This card shows that you are being pulled into a whirlwind of work or responsibilities that cannot be postponed. It is as if you are carrying a heavy load of tasks all at once, a long list of things demanding to be handled, until it feels as though there is no space left for you to control your own rhythm. You are being forced to change your plans, forced to constantly adapt and maneuver to keep up, not out of free choice or leisure, but out of necessity. The feeling is as though you are being pushed into a stream of relentless change, one demand after another, without any preparation or pause. This energy also reveals that you are living in a state of constant tension, always on alert, always with the sense that at any moment something unexpected might crash down upon you. I can clearly sense that tightness, as though you are being pressed from every side by demands beyond your limit, as though someone keeps handing you difficult tasks or placing you in situations that are too sudden, too overwhelming. The message here is that you are caught in circumstances resembling a string of emergencies, one thing piled upon another, leaving you no space to arrange or command your own pace. And yet, what is remarkable is your nature itself. You are someone born with the gift of adaptability, someone with innate flexibility. Ordinarily, you would find ways to turn repetition into joy, to infuse it with your own creativity, your own playfulness, your own spark of enthusiasm. You are the kind of person who knows how to savor even what repeats itself. But with the particular situation that unfolded in the recent past, a sudden shift, a plan overturned, this time it seems that you are facing much more difficulty than usual in handling it with your natural ease. The image that appears in this reading shows that you have been expending immense energy to withstand it, and it feels as though this time the situation has truly overwhelmed you, leaving you unable to hold on to the lightness and fluidity that are normally so natural to you. For example, it is as if you had drawn a clear path for yourself, knowing that you would take this step, then the next, your heart brimming with anticipation as you moved toward the destination. And yet, while you were walking that path, suddenly an unforeseen event struck, like someone abruptly appearing right before you, blocking your way and forcing you to turn in another direction without any warning. This left you scrambling to deal with it immediately, without time to prepare yourself mentally, compelled to maneuver while caught off guard. And it is exactly this that has created the tension, the exhaustion, the weariness that I can feel so strongly in your current energy. I cannot say with certainty what that event was, but I invite you to place yourself into this energy and see how it resonates. It feels like something unexpected crashed into your life, a situation that appeared suddenly before you, giving you no time to prepare, no chance to shield yourself, leaving you with confusion and disorientation, as though you were forced to face it head-on in that very moment. It could also be that you have been repeatedly confronting an unstable relationship with someone, trying again and again to face it, to maintain it, yet in the end the instability was never resolved, and at a certain threshold, things simply could not be prolonged any further. That is the feeling this card is evoking, a vague, indescribable state, something difficult to put into words, only that it is deeply unsettling. Although each person's specific experience will differ, the shared essence in this present moment is that a path you never intended to walk has suddenly appeared before you, like a forced detour opening up unexpectedly. It is not the road you would have chosen, and yet you find yourself with no option but to step onto it, as though a door has been pushed open and you are compelled to cross its threshold, even while your heart is filled with hesitation. That is why the current state is not one of unending heaviness, not one of constant exhaustion to the point of collapse, but rather a lingering unease that never seems to fully leave. The rhythm of your days becomes blurred, anticipation mingling with anxiety, excitement mixed with worry, and your emotions rise and fall as though your inner deck of cards is being shuffled over and over again. And what your guardians want you to know is that you are in a period where this very turbulence, this disorder, is precisely what you are being called to acknowledge and to see. The theme of this reading is your future through the eyes of your guardian. So then, what exactly awaits you ahead? What image of the future dear guardians wish to send you? Now I will draw more cards to listen for the answer. One card has appeared. It is the Devil. I know that just hearing the name of this card might make you feel a flicker of fear, but I want to emphasize right away that there is no need to be afraid. In tarot, there is no card that is truly frightening. Every card carries its own message and meaning, and the Devil is no exception. So take a deep breath and receive it calmly, because the message here is not something to worry about. It is, in fact, an important piece of the path you are meant to walk. So let us begin to read into your future. The very first thing that emerges so clearly is the strong connection between who you are at your core and the message that is coming through now. What this reading shows is not just a glimpse of the road ahead, but something that ties directly into the essence of your being. You are the kind of person who, whenever you stumble, whenever you go through hardship, upheaval, or pain, you do not leave those wounds behind as mere scars. Instead, you know how to draw from them, to extract their energy and transform that very pain into part of your strength, into lessons that nourish you, that help you grow, that shape you into someone more resilient. To you, pain is not only loss, it becomes the very material from which you build your road, the element that makes you stronger, steadier, more mature. This is the precious quality your guardians want to highlight when they speak about your future. I see a very beautiful image unfolding. You are about to bear fruits that are radiant, vibrant, and full of life. Your guardians want to emphasize that you are someone with remarkable sharpness, someone who knows how to seize opportunities, who has the ability to turn situations around even in times of difficulty. And above all, you are a soul of immense endurance, a person of great toughness and inner strength. They repeat this again and again. You are tough, meaning you hold a rare resilience, a fortitude that very few possess. That is why you truly have nothing to fear. From this stage forward, your life will gradually become more comfortable, lighter, easier to breathe. A new clear sky is opening within your heart, and the light of peace, renewal, and vitality is waiting to spread into your life. The message being given here is crystal clear. Rest assured, for you are about to step into a horizon that is more expansive and more serene than ever before. Looking back at the recent past, I see that you have gone through a significant event connected to something at the very core of your life. It may have been a value deeply tied to your sense of self, or a profound relationship with someone who holds a special place in your heart. In that moment, you were forced to draw a line, to create a pause, a boundary that separated what once was from what would follow. That precise instant became an unforgettable milestone in your life, like a page in a book that you could never skip over. Your guardians describe it as a kind of graduation, a transition, an ending that carried within it the energy of maturity. And what is most important is that because of that graduation, you emerged holding something of great worth in your hands, something that feels both like a reward and like a precious tool, a treasure to carry with you into the next stage of your journey. In this spread, the Ten of Wands and the Ace of Wands have appeared together. In tarot, the minor arcana follows the cycle of numbers from 1 to 10. When the number 10, the fullness, the completion of a cycle, appears alongside the number 1, the beginning, the seed of something new, it speaks of a moment of intersection, a critical threshold where one chapter has reached its conclusion and another is beginning. This ending, without a doubt, holds the energy of graduation, and you are stepping into a new cycle with the strength of rebirth, empowered by the lessons you have learned and the hardships you have endured in the chapter just past. Yet I must also acknowledge that in the journey leading to this moment of graduation, the appearance of the devil in your spread tells me that the road has not been easy. There were times when you were forced to stop, moments when the difficulties were too great, when pain pressed upon you so heavily that it left you frustrated, angry, restless to the point of suffocation. And alongside it, the moon has also shown itself, signaling that you have been through a period of being caught in a whirlpool of emotions, waves of sadness, anxiety, tension, confusion, states of mind that clouded your vision, disrupted your clarity, and weighed down your spirit. These energies may have seeped into your body as well, affecting both your mental and physical health. There may have been times when you felt paralyzed, frozen in place, unable to move forward, moments of emptiness and exhaustion where you were forced to pause, unable to carry on as you once had. Your guardian wants you to know that they have witnessed everything. They understand that the journey you have walked through has been unbearably heavy, filled with hardship and pain. Yet it is precisely because of those pauses, those wounds, and those fierce challenges that you were able to truly complete a cycle and now step into a brand new chapter of your life. From here, you move forward with a spirit that is more steadfast, a heart that has become stronger, carrying with you the promise of the sweet fruits waiting to be harvested in your path. And then the question arises, why did all of this have to happen to you? The cards have spoken clearly, and I will try to express their message in a way that you can feel it deeply. The message is this. Even though everything had already become too heavy, even though the situation by then was no longer suitable, you still tried to stay, you still insisted on facing it, still wanted to keep walking down that road. And so, the universe, or your guardian, was compelled to intervene, to bring about a forced ending. They wanted you to understand that if you had continued forward in that direction, the danger, the harm awaiting you would have been far greater, multiplied many times over. That event appeared like a hand pulling you back, a power forcing you to stop, to shield you from what would have harmed you if you had kept going. To make it easier to imagine, think of a construction site with safety cones and warning signs placed along the way. They are not there to inconvenience you, but to block the path so that you do not step into danger. You are stopped or redirected onto another road, simply because ahead of you something risky might happen. This is the exact image that the cards are painting for you. That sudden blockage, that interruption which, to you, might have felt like stagnation, like a senseless obstacle, like something unbearably, unfairly arranged, was in truth an act of protection. It came to keep you safe, to prevent you from continuing down a path that would only have led to deeper pain and greater loss. I know when put this way, it may sound a little strange, but let us return to the earlier image I spoke of, the map within your heart blurred and smudged, leaving you unable to see clearly where you were. In that state, it felt as though you were being forced forward on a road you did not wish to travel. But in reality, that was not being lost, it was being guided. Just like in life when a guard or a traffic officer raises a hand and signals to you, "This road is closed for now, please take this other route." That is not meaningless coercion, but protection. It is a serious, sacred reminder from the universe, guiding you away from danger and ensuring you do not walk into greater harm. Therefore, your guardian wants to tell you that everything that has happened was never random. It was a meaningful graduation, a conclusion filled with purpose, a necessary full stop so that you could begin a brand new chapter. They want you to look back and realize that all of the upheavals you've just gone through were in fact turning points designed to protect you and to guide you onto the exact path you needed to walk for your own growth and maturity. And now, to shed even more light on this picture, I will draw a few more cards to dive deeper into the message your guardian wants to convey to you. The card that has appeared is speaking of this. The road you once felt you did not want to walk, the path you once believed you would never choose, is actually the true road, the very direction the universe wanted you to move toward. This message is not here to scold you, but to reassure you that everything that unfolded did so for a reason. And here, I see the card speaking very clearly. You no longer need to keep resisting. You have been holding on too tightly, trying to control everything, reluctant to let go time and again. But the message is that you can finally release. You can allow yourself to loosen your grip. Because whether you cling to it or whether you release it, the final outcome will be the same. And that outcome is not emptiness, not loss, but rather something profoundly positive. That is why letting go will bring you a sense of relief, of comfort, instead of the constant strain and tension of resistance. This message ties directly back to what I said earlier. You tried to stay. You stubbornly wanted to keep going, even when your intuition deep inside whispered that you should not. Yet whether you stayed or whether you walked away, what you truly needed, what you were seeking all along, would still find its way to you. Because this is the card of receptivity, the card of giving and receiving. It affirms that you will arrive where you need to arrive. You will touch the true goal. You will receive what your heart has been longing for. Only, at times, you did not realize that you yourself were making the journey longer, more roundabout. You didn't know you were creating detours, weaving extra curves into your path, making the road stretch farther. The reason for those winding detours was that you had been caught up in too many things. You were pulled, spun around by unexpected circumstances, by demands from the outside, by pressures beyond anything you had experienced before. These were challenges unfamiliar to you, leaving you bewildered, and in that state of confusion, you made choices that were not aligned with your truest self. And so, the universe stepped in, its guiding hand intervened, redirecting you onto another road. The message is this: none of what happened was meaningless. Every moment was a necessary adjustment, ensuring that you did not stray too far from your true course. So, I draw a few more cards to bring greater clarity. And here, two incredibly powerful cards have appeared, the Wheel of Fortune and the World. When these two emerge together, it is as though the universe is offering you a firm and undeniable affirmation. No matter which road you choose, you will still reach your destination. You do not need to worry that you have made the wrong choice. You do not need to reproach yourself for taking the wrong turn. The universe is telling you this. Regardless of the direction, your path is still right. It is still leading you exactly where you need to arrive. The deeper message within this is that there were times when you chose things that did not align with your true nature, times when you bore too much, carried burdens, accepted living against your own essence just to keep everything stable, just to maintain peace. But that was not you. That was not your real self. And so, the cards want you to understand that this change, this redirection in your life, is not a failure. It is liberation. It is release. It is your soul finally exhaling after holding its breath for too long. Perhaps as you hear this, resistance rises within you. A part of you may not be able to accept it immediately. You may think, no, I cannot take this in so easily. But the universe understands that. Your guardian also understands, and that is why these messages are being sent to you, to remind you that whether you believe right now or whether you need more time, your path is still true, and the future you are heading toward is still a future of wholeness and fulfillment. The message here shows that you do not need to force yourself to accept everything at once, and you do not need to swallow the entirety of this truth in a single breath. What has happened was truly immense, a transformation so strong it shook your heart and soul, and so it is completely natural that you might find it difficult to embrace it all right away. You are allowed to struggle. You are allowed to resist. You are allowed to cry, to let the flood of emotions surge through you. That is not foolish, not shameful in the least. On the contrary, it is a natural part of the healing process. And even if, in your heart, you feel it is unfair, even if you ask why things had to happen in such an unjust way, that too is completely allowed. You are entitled to feel that way, because in those moments you are being real, you are being honest with yourself and with everything you have gone through. However, woven through everything, there remains one core truth that the cards keep emphasizing again and again. Everything that has happened carries a far greater reason, and that reason is protection. Your guardian wants you to understand that even if, through your eyes, it looks like pain, even if it feels like loss, At a deeper level, it is, in fact, protection. It is divine intervention, stepping in to keep you safe, to guide you away from a path that could have caused you even greater harm. As I moved through the flow of these messages, an image came to me, an unusual metaphor, yet one that shines with clarity. It is like when you have a song you cherish with all your heart, a song whose melody alone can bring an entire wave of memories rushing back. All of us have such a song, the kind of song that, when played, reminds us of beautiful days, of radiant memories, of those fleeting moments when our hearts overflowed with light. And right now, you are standing as though within the soaring chorus of that song. This is the place where the melody is about to break free, the moment when the whole concert hall is about to sing together, the instant when the energy is about to rise to its peak. This is exactly where you are, standing at the edge of a turning point, a climax, right before reclaiming the most precious treasure that belongs to you. The Guardian sends a clear and unwavering message: the treasure will return. And as you hear this, you might ask yourself, what treasure? What exactly is it that will return to me? The answer is this: it is your true self, the version of you that you once held close, that you once cherished, that you once lived as fully as possible. It is the soul map you once drew for yourself. It is your passion for freedom. It is the spirit of adventure belonging to a treasure seeker who never stops yearning for discovery. Your guardian wants you to know that this spirit will return, but not in the form of going back to the past. Rather, it will return as a new embodiment, matured, stronger, and now merging seamlessly with the version of you that exists here and now. For a period of time, you may have felt the weight of loss so vividly. You may have sensed yourself letting slip a precious part of who you are, as though from a certain moment in the past, a vital piece of your soul had quietly fallen away. Perhaps this recent upheaval has even deepened that feeling, making you believe that you are no longer the person you used to be. But the message here is radiant and undeniable. You will reclaim that essence. The part of you that was once hidden, once dimmed, will rise again, returning to you like a true treasure placed back into your hands, so that you may walk forward once more in wholeness and in the fullness of your being. In other words, you will soon come to realize that the loss you once thought was permanent was in truth only temporary, a pause, a moment of stillness, so that when you are ready, you yourself will be the one to call it back. And when it returns, it will no longer be a fragile fragment slipping through your hands, but rather a source of strength, of light, guiding you forward on your journey with a heart more powerful, more liberated, more unshakably free than ever before. Because the Moon card has appeared, a card so deeply connected with unease, with those vague and shadowy worries, the message becomes clear. You once lived in a state where unspoken anxieties always lingered within you, as though a silent shadow followed you everywhere, never allowing you to rest completely. Perhaps you even carried suspicions toward someone or toward a relationship that lacked stability, and this unsettled energy made you feel as if your own safe boundaries, the sacred space you worked so hard to protect, were gradually being eroded. You felt how the very space that once gave you comfort and peace suddenly shrank, suffocating, yet you denied it. You tried to soothe yourself, telling yourself it was only a fleeting feeling, convincing yourself that you were fine, that everything was still within your control. The cards reveal that many times you put on a smile, even when you did not feel fine at all. You told yourself, "It's all right, I will get through this. I am strong enough to face it." But deep within, you already knew, long before the surface could admit it, that this place, that road, was not truly yours. You sensed, you felt with painful clarity, that this was not the space meant for you. And yet, instead of stopping, you continued to row against the current, continued to push forward despite everything around you resisting. The image here is strikingly clear, you straining with all your might, rowing a boat against the river's current, pouring in endless effort, exhausting yourself to the limit, and still the boat crept forward so slowly, so heavily, its movement never matching the magnitude of your sacrifice. Your guardian wants you to know, you have truly graduated from that stage. You have stepped out of that endless cycle. You have broken free from that grip of clinging. The world and the wheel of fortune appearing together come as a powerful proclamation that the time has come for you to close the old chapter and to step into the new. You have completed the cycle, you have triumphed over the trial, and now you are entering a period of rebirth, a sacred threshold where you can meet yourself again, reconnect with the essence of who you are, the self that, in the past, you felt you had somehow lost along the way. And though it may sound strange, the cards speak of this reunion as though you are meeting yourself anew, standing face to face once more with the original essence you were born with, free, strong, untamed, and pure. It is as if life has circled you back, not to diminish you, but to return you to the very core of your being, so that you may walk forward carrying both the wisdom of all that you have endured and the luminous truth of who you have always been. In addition, the energy reveals that in recent times, because of everything that has happened, you have been forcing yourself to carry too much. You may not have realized it, but you truly have been pushing yourself beyond your limits. And because of that, the people around you may have begun to notice a change. They may have said to you, "You look different lately," or "Are you really okay?" For your essence is that of someone steady, someone rooted, someone who always holds firmly to their inner core. You are not easily dissolved into your surroundings, nor are you the kind of person who would bury your heart just to force yourself to adapt. At your core, you are strong, independent, and deeply loyal to your true nature. And yet, because you endured for too long, because you were pulled into circumstances that did not truly belong to you, you began to feel the tightening, the confinement. Even though you never intended to lose yourself, you were unconsciously swept along, carried by a current that drew you away from the person you truly are. This may have caused those closest to you to feel concern, to wonder, even to speak out with words of warning such as, "Don't keep doing this," or "You should stop now." These are signals, signs that you had drifted too far from your own center, and it was time for the universe to remind you to return. I sense that during this recent period, perhaps you have heard many words, many comments, many opinions from others that, on the surface, may have seemed ordinary, simple, but for some reason they struck you deeply. They pierced into that hidden chamber of your heart and left behind a sting. It may not have been anyone's intention to wound you, and yet you felt each word, each remark, as though it were an arrow driven into your chest. And the repetition of it, over and over, left you weary, left you questioning whether you were even still on the right path. But your guardian wants to affirm once more, with certainty, you have graduated from that stage. You have come to the point of release. You have already found the exit. You have already opened a passageway for yourself. The Wheel of Fortune and the world have both appeared, carrying the message that your destiny has shifted, and you are now preparing to step into a new chapter, into a higher plane of your journey. This is a bold, resounding proclamation. You have overcome, you have completed the trial, and now the time has come to move on into the next stage of your life. Therefore, if at this moment you still feel uncertain, if you feel as though you are wandering lost and asking yourself, "Where am I on the map of my life?" take heart, for you will surely arrive at your destination. Not only will you arrive, but you will arrive wholly, clearly, completely. This reading carries the energy of a beautiful conclusion. You will finish what needs to be finished, and you will reach exactly the place you are meant to reach. The future that appears here is one of powerful rebirth. You will once again begin to create your life anew, no longer allowing others or external circumstances to dictate your course, but instead taking up the pen yourself to write the new chapter. You will live to witness the visions you have always longed for, to dwell in the world you have yearned to build for yourself. Your guardian wishes to say that you will breathe life again. That is, you will be reborn once more into wholeness, into a fullness of strength and vitality. Even if right now your situation still leaves you unsettled, unable to feel completely at peace, there is no need for worry. This is only a small part of the adjustment, merely a step to realign you with the path that is truer, more resonant with your heart. Think of it as a waiting period, a necessary pause. It is not failure, it is not meaningless delay, it is simply a pause for recalibration, a moment of stillness before carrying you to the exact place you need to be. And the message here could not be clearer. Stability is certain for you, and the life ahead will be far brighter, far richer than anything you have known so far. So there is no need to rush into decisions during this phase. Do not hurry, do not be reckless. Do not grab onto something just to soothe yourself for the moment. At the same time, do not force yourself to carry more than you can bear. Loosen your grip, allow things to unfold at their own rhythm, and choose only what truly makes your heart resonate. Whatever feels right, whatever feels in harmony, hold on to that. For the future that awaits you is one of clarity, of radiance, of completeness, far more luminous and whole than anything you have yet walked through. And so, from this moment onward, the path that unfolds before you is a journey leading toward a place of ease, a space of true comfort, where you can breathe freely and live in harmony with your own rhythm. In the days ahead, you will encounter relationships where the connection of souls flows naturally, where you will find people with whom you can truly open your heart, with whom you resonate deeply. Alongside that, your efforts, no matter how small, no matter how simple or modest they may seem, will bear fruit. They will blossom into results and become the firm foundation upon which you will step forward with confidence. All of this is guiding you back to your authentic self, no longer veering off course, no longer forcing yourself, but instead living in alignment with the central axis that has always belonged to you. That future is drawing nearer, moving closer to embrace you, to welcome you fully into a new phase of your life. This also means that everything you have just gone through, all of the partings, the losses, the graduations of the past, were simply things that had reached their time, things that were no longer necessary. Time itself had turned them into what was outdated, no longer carrying the value to accompany you forward. The universe arranged for them to appear outwardly as events, as upheavals, to push you into truly letting go, to help you step out of them with greater decisiveness. It is true that the way they arrived may have been too sudden, too harsh, like a storm that struck too forcefully, but the purpose was still the same, to free you, to release you, to return you to your freedom. And the message here is equally clear. You do not need to force yourself to accept everything right now. You have the right to refuse, to say that you cannot yet, that you still feel the pain. That is completely all right. But one day, when you have traveled farther, you will realize that the very upheaval you resisted was in fact necessary, and you will smile with genuine acceptance that rises from within your heart. And from the moment you truly accept it, you will feel yourself standing on the most solid foundation of your being, aligned once again with your core axis, and from there, you will go further, you will grow greater. You will step into a future far more radiant than anything behind you. Therefore, your guardian wants to tell you this. Everything that is happening now is only to bring you back to yourself and then to guide you toward a more complete future. Even if you cannot yet see it fully, the path is already opening before you. I will close the reading for those of you who chose pile 1 here. If today's message touched you, even just a little, I would be grateful if you could leave a sign, a like, a comment, or even just a small symbol so that I may know your heart has received it. Thank you for listening until the end of this video. I look forward to meeting you again in the next readings. Hello to those of you who chose pile 2. Thank you for your patience, and now I will begin the reading for those who have selected the second pile. May this reading bring you healing, new awareness, and moments filled with love. First of all, allow me to listen and to channel what your guardian has seen about who you are and what you have been through along your journey. As I laid out the cards, 2 of them jumped out at once, and that immediately signaled how strongly your energy is being expressed here. The very first thing emphasized is that you are someone whose emotions are easily swayed. It is not that you are always in this state, but from time to time, sudden waves of powerful feelings surge and leave you unsteady. They tend to arrive in those fragile moments when you feel exhausted, when you stumble, when you lie down right before sleep takes you, or even at the moment you first awaken. Those are the times when your emotions pour out the most intensely, and often they are tied to a very specific situation or a very specific person. There are moments when you cannot control it, and those currents of emotion come rushing back, overwhelming you with their intensity. More than that, the cards reveal that in the past you have experienced something deeply wounding, a pain that was more than just a passing hurt, something closer to a psychological scar, even a form of emotional trauma. And it is precisely that event, or the person bound to it, that has left such a powerful imprint on you. They may have been someone deeply important, or perhaps not so outwardly significant, but unquestionably they once stood very close to you, someone you were compelled to face, compelled to interact with. For some of you, that person may even have been someone intimate, someone you held dear. And this is why the feelings connected to them are so difficult for you to release, so hard for you to cut away cleanly. These memories and emotions have not yet been fully dissolved within you. They are not simply recollections. They have become a part of you, embedded, clinging to your soul as though fused into it. The cards show an image of something stuck inside your heart, refusing to let go, leaving you with constant discomfort, like a splinter that cannot be removed. You want to brush it aside, you want to erase it from yourself, but the more you try, the tighter it clings, draining you and weighing you down further. Your guardian reveals that this is what has been burdening your spirit, what has been making your soul feel so unbearably heavy. I can feel so clearly that you carry a kind of visceral, almost physical aversion toward that event or that person. It lingers like a scar, one that makes you, time and again, wish you could erase it, cut it clean away from your memory and from your life. Perhaps within your heart you have thought so many times, if only I could wipe it out completely, if only it would vanish entirely from my mind, so that it would never again have the chance to affect my life. You have longed to blur those feelings, to cover them with a veil of mist so they would no longer haunt you. And if possible, you would even want to override it all with something new, replace it with another experience, another memory, so that wound would cease to exist. This is precisely what your guardian is showing me about you, about what you have lived through and what you are still carrying inside your heart. It is both pain and memory, something you did not want to face, yet it remains, lodged within you, etched into your journey like an indelible carving. The message here is painfully clear. Within your heart exists something akin to a poison, an energy that seeps through your whole being, leaving you with the sense of being tainted, never fully at ease, never completely at peace. It is not a poison you can see, but the toxin of memory, of the soul itself. Your guardian shows that there is one particular memory, one singular past experience tied to an emotion so distinct, so unmistakable that nothing else compares. It is too powerful, too deep, so much so that you have wished countless times that you could rewrite it, erase it, change it entirely. You have felt as though your emotions were stolen, crushed, twisted in that very moment. The feeling reflected in the card is that of having once been trampled upon, of having your dignity shattered into fragments. You were forced to live in a state of lack, as though a vital part of you had been taken away, leaving you with that hollow emptiness you still carried as you continued walking your path in life. And then, you nearly collapsed into surrender, into a mindset half resignation, half defeat. You wanted to forget. You tried so hard to forget. You put all your effort into pushing it out of your mind. But you're human, a being of flesh and blood, a heart that feels pain, not some unfeeling machine. You cannot erase that memory as easily as deleting a file from a computer. Fragments of those emotions remain, and it is precisely those remnants that have woven themselves quietly into every corner of your existence. Your guardian wants you to understand that it is precisely these memories that have caused you, time and again, to lock away your own potential. There have been situations, opportunities in your life where you could have stood tall, where you could have expressed your full strength and the brilliance of your inner abilities, yet you hesitated, held back, stopped short as though an invisible door suddenly blocked your way. It is the wound of the past that has made you doubt yourself, that has kept you from allowing your confidence and your gifts to shine in their entirety. The reasons may be many, yet they all circle back to the same wounds of the soul. Perhaps you were abandoned, perhaps you were betrayed in a cruel and heartless way. Perhaps you longed simply to be seen as a human being, yet you were ignored, dismissed, denied the fairness you deserved. For some of you, it may even trace back to your youth, where you endured bullying or emotional abuse in school, where you were belittled, isolated, treated as though you did not belong, until your sense of self-worth was gravely damaged. I sense that you too have carried scars of the heart, unforgettable imprints of fear much like these. For just the act of remembering can make you shiver, can send a chill rushing through your skin as though your whole body recalls the terror. That feeling is etched in your memory so vividly, so sharply, that it refuses to fade, alive as though it only happened yesterday. And so, no matter how hard you try to rewrite the memory, no matter how determined you are to rise above it, deep down inside you there remain emotions you cannot yet release. Those fragments of memory have never been fully dissolved. Even if you try to shift your perspective, even if you attempt to layer a new belief, a new feeling over them, it still feels as though everything collapses midway through, as though a structure you were building suddenly crumbles into nothingness before your eyes. The image I see is of you constructing over and over, time and again, only to watch it shatter and fall apart each time. And in a cruel twist of fate, the shards from that collapse transform into sharp arrows that turn back against you, piercing you once more, as though the old pain is always finding a way to return. It is a feeling so paradoxical, so bitterly ironic, that words alone can hardly capture it. Why is it that after all the effort, after all the struggle to move forward, the fragments of that sorrow still return to wound you again? Looking deeper, I see the root lies in those painful experiences of the past. For example, you may have once told yourself that love was unnecessary, that love was nothing but a facade, something false. You may have clung to the belief that no one was worthy of your heart any longer, that love itself was undeserving, and so you shut your heart tightly, refusing connection of any kind. Of course, the shape, the depth, or the reasons behind this may vary for each of you, but ultimately, the paradox that life itself has been teaching you is this: the very thing you rejected most fiercely is exactly the thing you long for and need the most. That which you denied is, in truth, what your heart has always been secretly yearning for. The message I receive here is this: in the end, every denial, every rejection, every wound that you tried so hard to forget has come back around again, closing itself into a circle, bringing you back to the deepest part of yourself, the place that still longs for warmth, that still yearns for tenderness and love. It is like a wheel of samsara, a cycle that spins endlessly, The more you deny it, the more you are confronted with the truth that your heart has never stopped seeking shelter, never stopped seeking love. And so, I can feel that you have endured immense pain, that you have faced life's harshness over and over, and tried to make it through on your own. You have tried one way after another, made countless efforts to step out of that shadow, but in a cruel irony, those very efforts, those countless attempts to find an escape, became the sharp fragments that turned back against you, stabbing into your heart. Instead of soothing you, instead of helping you break free, they stirred the pain alive once more, making the sorrow more vivid, more cutting. It is an irony so bitter, it feels like a merciless joke of fate. And I can sense that many times you must have thought to yourself, life truly is cruelly ironic. You have carried that feeling with you day after day, living through it, moving forward with it, half burdened, half broken. What appears here is the image of someone who has endured much, who carries within themselves no small number of psychological wounds, a heart marked with scars, with scratches, with jagged tears. You wanted to maintain an exterior of calm, of dryness, to move through life detached, unaffected, as if nothing could reach you anymore. But the paradox is this: the more you tried to numb yourself, the more the raw, vivid, uncontrollable emotions within you surged up suddenly, breaking through. You cannot stop your heart, and the distance between the numbness you try to build and the intensity that rises inside is what has created your suffering. This is the tearing, the inner conflict, that I see so clearly here. The theme today is this: what do the guardians, the guiding energies watching over you, see when they look toward your future? And the very first image that the cards bring forth is of you turning away from your own true feelings. As I said earlier, you have been trying to live in dryness and indifference, trying to shut off all care for yourself as if no emotion remains. Yet the truth is, this applies only to how you treat your inner world. Because with the outer world, you still care deeply, you still pay attention, you still notice the people and things around you. The avoidance lies only in your relationship with yourself. When you turn inward, you withdraw, you grow cold, you abandon your own heart. And the message from the cards here is this: it is time to reverse that order. Do not give so much of your attention to the outer world that you forget yourself. The guidance being sent to you is that you must learn how to return inward, to tend to care for, and to love yourself first. That is the essence. That is the core. Invest in yourself. Devote your energy to truly listening, truly nurturing your own soul. I know this is not something simple, for human feelings and thoughts cannot just be flipped on and off like a light switch. You cannot simply decide and instantly change everything in a single moment. But the message is being emphasized strongly. You have taken your indifference toward yourself to an extreme, and that is exactly what the universe wants you to face directly. I will continue to draw further cards. And once again, the image is highlighting the sharp alertness and deep defensiveness within you. Yes, you care for the outer world, but when it comes to yourself, your heart is immediately sealed shut, like a locked door that allows no one to enter. Where does this feeling come from? It comes from the old wounds of your past, from those profound scars that have kept you always on guard, always building walls for protection. The card that has appeared shows the image of a figure with bandages wrapped around the head, a stark, unmistakable symbol of old wounds. And from that place, you built a boundary that says, from here inward, no one is allowed to step closer. That is your state at this moment, a hypervigilant heart, sealed tight, at once protecting you from being hurt again, yet at the same time making it difficult for you to open and truly receive the healing you need. I can sense in you the presence of a clear and heavy layer of defense, like a shell wrapped tightly around your heart. When meeting someone new, or even within relationships where closeness already exists, you still find it difficult to fully trust, to open yourself completely. Almost as though by instinct, you see others as potential threats, as people who might harm you. And at times you may even feel that holding this mindset, viewing others as rivals or as enemies, somehow brings you comfort, somehow makes you feel safer. Perhaps you have lived in this state for quite some time. But the message here is clear. When you keep holding onto that defensive stance, paradoxically, you end up pouring even more of your energy into it. And as a result, the tension and fear within your heart only grow stronger, becoming more and more powerful over time. Of course, in this world there will always be those who carry malice, those who bring negative energy with them, but not everyone is like that. And if you keep placing every single person into the role of an enemy, then even those who are truly important, those who could bring you warmth and healing, will end up being pushed away and left outside the walls you have built. The universe wants to tell you this. Protect your heart, yes, but do not lock it away. Cherish your emotions, honor what belongs to you, but do not let fear stop you from allowing the necessary connections that are meant to come into your life. The message here goes even further. Everything you have tried before, all the ways you sought to overcome the trauma, the attempts to erase it by layering new experiences on top, the times you covered your pain by yourself, these have been no more than temporary measures, like placing a bandage over a wound. They may have helped you stand for a moment, helped you move through the day, but they could never truly heal you at the root. The true key lies in returning to yourself, in learning how to care for yourself, how to listen to yourself without avoidance. When you find the courage to face your own heart and to give it the attention it deserves, that is when true healing can occur, healing from the very foundation, not just on the surface. Perhaps within you there exist so many rigid beliefs, so many principles built up solely to shield your heart from ever being hurt again. It is as if you have told yourself, this must never be trusted, that will certainly wound me, so I must never let it draw near. These barricades are thick and heavy, yet the message being sent to you is this: look again. Review them one more time. When you truly dare to look directly at them, even those things that once brought you failure, those experiences that once left you drenched in sorrow, those days that slipped away under the weight of regret, all of them can be purified, can be washed clean and slowly, gently become what they were always meant to be, the past. And when that happens, you will finally be able to release them, to set them down behind you without being held captive by them any longer. That is why the card emphasizes that the heavy emotions you are carrying, the anger, the resentment, the wounds, and the sorrow, do not need to be directed toward people or situations that could never truly understand your heart. Such people, such circumstances, are not worthy of your energy. As I mentioned earlier, you have often defaulted to seeing others as potential enemies, and so when you encountered those who truly hurt you, your instinct was to immediately raise your defenses, to take up a fighting stance, ready to counterattack. But the message here is very clear. You do not need to fight anymore. For with people like that, no matter how much effort you pour in, they will never understand. They will never receive the truth of what you are trying to express. Turn the arrow of your attention away from the outside and bring it back toward yourself. Focus on your own being. That is the true path to healing. Because you have already thought so much, wrestled so much, tried in every way you knew how, tested every possible solution. And so now, the message being delivered to you is this: stop forcing yourself to keep pushing forward in that painful way. You have already done more than enough. It is time to stop, to release, to loosen your grip, and to learn how to let go so that your heart may find peace. What appears here is the image of a constant tension surrounding you, an ever-present state of vigilance. This alertness is like an invisible armor wrapped tightly around you, and the card tells us that this armor itself is what is weighing you down, pressing upon you, making you strain and brace yourself in every situation. It has become so heavy that it may often leave you drained, weary, exhausted, sometimes even causing vague discomforts that cannot be easily explained. It is not necessarily an illness in the physical sense, but more like a state in which your body and your mind are never at ease, never in harmony. And I believe that among those listening now, many of you may feel this very clearly, that you often fall into such a condition, always carrying something heavy upon you, always battling with a nameless fatigue. The message from the cards reveals that the root cause of your current state lies in the fact that you have forgotten yourself. You have directed so much of your attention outward, you have kept your defenses up for so long, building walls around you, that you have forgotten to turn your gaze back toward your own being. When you redirect the arrow of your focus inward, when you are willing to truly listen to yourself, you will find the answers to what has been draining you. It is in that moment that you will begin to understand why you have fallen into this state, why you have carried this constant unease, this unrest. What you thought had no name, what felt like a vague discomfort without explanation, can in fact be identified, can be seen for its true essence. And when the cause is uncovered, the way out becomes shorter, clearer, more direct, offering you a path away from the weight that has been pressing down on you. I will continue to draw further, and here a clear message emerges. Those aches, those instabilities in the body, the subtle symptoms you never understood, they can be named, they can be defined clearly. Or those hazy anxieties, the questions you once thought had no answer, they will begin to clarify. Slowly, you will begin to see the path, to find explanations that make sense of what you have always wrestled with. And then a particular card appears here, the card of the bully. Yes, the energy of the bully, of those who lack empathy, who lack sensitivity. People like that, no matter how truthful you are, no matter how fully you pour out your heart, no matter how hard you try to communicate with all your sincerity, they will never understand. The message underscores this. With those who have no capacity for empathy, every effort you make is meaningless, for quite simply, there can never be true communication between you. It is no different than a conversation in which you speak endlessly, but the other side never hears a word. And so, once more, the message is repeated. Stop trying. Stop pouring your strength into this. I know you may not think you have been making an effort, but in truth, within your heart, there is still that constant vigilance, that quiet resistance, that wall of defense always ready to push back. The card shows the image of you keeping a cold distance, responding with resistance, but the universe wants you to know this. You do not even need to resist. That resistance itself only drains your energy, only consumes you, and it will never bring about any change. Remember this. With people like that, those who will never be able to understand your heart, resisting them, fighting against them, is nothing more than a waste of your time. Instead of standing there locked in struggle, walk away. Take that precious time and energy and give it back to your own heart. Return to nourishing, caring for, and listening to yourself, for that is the only true path to healing. When you truly redirect your attention and care inward, all those heavy feelings, all that gloom that has lingered at the roots of your soul, those muffled cries that have echoed within you and kept you restless, will gradually begin to dissolve. The message of the cards is this: by simply changing direction, by turning the arrow of attention from the outside world back toward yourself, the burdens that once pressed upon your heart will begin to fade, to be cleansed, to grow lighter and more transparent. This is the reminder that you have the power to free yourself from the negative influences that have been weighing you down, that you can liberate yourself from the interference of energies that only exhaust you. And to do that, the most important step is to care for yourself first, to place your heart at the center of your attention. Of course, life still calls for harmony, still requires cooperation and connection with others. But that is something you can always choose, something you can discern moment by moment, guided by what feels right for you. Place yourself first, honor your own being above all, and from that place of self-priority, you will find the strength to decide how best to act in any circumstance. And here, two powerful cards have appeared together, the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Swords. Both are cards of beginnings, carrying raw, potent energy. The wands often symbolize action, passion, initiation, and sometimes even the arrival of unexpected good news. The swords represent thought, clarity, truth, communication, and the strength of intellect. When these two aces stand side by side, the message they bring is unmistakable. This is about agency, about authorship, about the sovereignty of your life. It speaks of the awakening of your own will, of the fire to act and the clarity to know, of reclaiming mastery over your journey and stepping forward as the creator of your own path. Wands represent action, while swords represent thought. One is movement, the other is stillness and observation. And the message being emphasized here is this: turning your attention back to yourself, learning to care for yourself, is precisely how you reclaim your agency. Because perhaps many of you, when you hear the phrase "take care of yourself," feel it is vague, unclear, uncertain of what it actually means in practice. But the message from the cards here is very clear. Being proactive does not only mean taking action, rushing forward, or throwing yourself into doing something. It also means knowing when to stop, when to choose not to act, when to pause in order to listen to your own heart. That too is a form of agency, a form of mastery. Both advancing and stopping, both are choices. And you have the full right to choose whichever is most aligned with you in that moment. 3 cards together are sending this message. Allow yourself to change in ways that are right for you. Allow yourself the freedom to choose only what truly fits with your rhythm, with your heart. Do not force yourself to obey rigid lists of rules. This must never be done. That should not be allowed, rules that you have set up within yourself as a way to feel protected. I mentioned this earlier. Within you there seem to be lists of prohibitions, rigid patterns you have convinced yourself you must follow in order to keep safe. And now, once more, the message is repeated. Look at them again, re-examine them, and give yourself permission to see them with fresh eyes. Those patterns, those prejudices, over time have hardened into fixed beliefs, and from beliefs they've begun to transform into dogmas, almost as though they are unquestionable truths written within you. But the message here is unmistakable. Let them soften. Allow them to become flexible. Let them loosen and breathe. Because only when you relax those rigid beliefs will you truly be able to open yourself to new possibilities, and only then will you allow yourself to step into the deepest healing that awaits you. The message coming through to me is this: Allow yourself to loosen where loosening is possible. Allow yourself to move a little more gently and take the energy that is released from those places where you no longer have to strain, where you no longer have to force, and give it fully back to yourself. All the space you create by not overexerting, by not pushing yourself beyond your limits, dedicate that space to yourself, to nurture your being. And this act of giving back to yourself does not need to be anything grand. It does not need to be ceremonial or extraordinary. It can be something as simple as turning your gaze inward, focusing your awareness on the things that make you better, the things that nourish your soul and your body. The message emphasizes that just thinking of what benefits you, just holding your focus on that, is already enough. Do not complicate it. Do not turn it into something heavy or difficult. In the end, what the cards are urging is this: live more simply, allow life itself to become simpler. Beyond that, there is another interesting nuance I sense when I look at these two cards. The image that emerges is like the spine, the central column of the body. It calls to mind the backbone, the back itself, and it leads me to sense that perhaps many of you here are carrying tension in the back, shoulders, or neck. And not just the back, there is also a sense of constriction in the front, in the abdomen, in the diaphragm, where energy feels trapped and stagnant. These are signs that your body has been living in a state of tension, always bracing, always holding itself rigid. And so, the message here is clear: pay attention to your breath and your body, and weave into your daily rhythm simple practices of deep breathing and stretching. I know that many people, when they think of stretching or relaxation, focus only on the back, on lengthening the spine, on lifting the arms, on opening the chest. But the belly, the part connected to deep breathing, is often neglected. In truth, the belly is very prone to contraction, and when you try to stretch it, when you extend and allow the abdomen to open, you will feel how profoundly soothing and relieving that can be. When the belly expands, you will naturally begin to breathe with your whole body. The breath becomes deeper, slower, fuller, more abundant. And what I sense very strongly here is that your breathing is often shallow, short, lacking surrender. And that is because within you there has always existed this subtle, persistent tension. You may wonder, what does this have to do with the reading? What does it have to do with a spiritual message? But in truth, it is deeply connected. When you breathe more deeply, when your blood circulates more freely, your mind also becomes clearer, your thoughts grow more optimistic and positive, your awareness more sharp and alive. That, in itself, is the foundation for transforming your energy. Because the body and spirit always move in tandem, when the body is released, the rigid beliefs, the hardened notions, will also begin to soften, to be restructured and renewed. And so, the concluding message here is this: allow your body and your mind to come into alignment, to renew together. Let the old concepts, the beliefs that have become walls inside you, grow flexible, grow supple, and be refreshed day by day, with each breath and each movement of your body. It is in that union that you will feel yourself gradually becoming freer, lighter, and more vibrant. I can sense with striking clarity that your future is opening up as a release, a liberation from a state of long training, from a phase of constant strain, endurance, and trial. The card tells us that what awaits you is a new chapter, a completely new story beginning to unfold. It is the start of a new current, a vital shift, and the clearest proof is the appearance of two aces together. These two aces reveal that the path you once thought was blocked, once imagined to be sealed off with a sign that said no entry, will now, all at once, open before your eyes. You once believed you could go no further, that every direction was closed, but the message declares that path will be cleared. I must say it once more: the very roads that once seemed impossible to pass, now you will see them wide open. And this can manifest in many different forms, depending on each person's journey. For example, for those who have poured themselves into their career, who have labored for years building, striving, accumulating, now you may suddenly find the chance to step into society in a way that is rightful and deserving. To encounter an environment that truly fits you, to be offered a professional opportunity that aligns perfectly with who you are. And with that will come greater income, a foundation of stability and security in your life. This is only one example, but it is more than enough to show that the road ahead is truly opening. Or it may be that the very things you once believed would take many long years, months of patience, perhaps even endless endurance, will now suddenly be shortened in a surprising way. What once seemed to require a lifetime of waiting may now unfold swiftly, faster than you ever expected, with results arriving ahead of schedule, beyond all anticipation. And for some of you, There may even be the chance of encountering a stroke of fortune so extraordinary that it leaves you stunned, forcing you to look again and again, to pinch yourself just to believe that it is real. This blessing is so far beyond imagination that it will make you exclaim again and again in disbelief. I will draw a few more cards to bring clarity. And here, the Knight of Wands appears. The Knight of Wands is the vivid emblem of movement, of departure, of fiery energy surging forward. It confirms that this change is real, not fleeting, not an illusion. And the message being emphasized is this: you will experience a moment that feels like deliverance, like awakening after a long, heavy slumber, finally opening your eyes to begin a new life. That sensation of relief, of saying at last, it's over and now I can truly begin. A new life awaits you, filled with new steps, new experiences, new joys. The presence of the card of transformation alongside the card of fresh beginnings declares unmistakably that this is indeed a sign, a premonition of rebirth. And when accompanied by the energy of the card of hope, the meaning is radiant and clear. What stands before you is a new chapter bathed in light. The message goes further to say that you will receive a sign that is certain, distinct, undeniable, that the door is opening for you. In fact, the cards suggest that these signs have already been with you for some time, yet because of old wounds, heavy emotions, and the weight of past trauma, you have not recognized them. Those feelings have been like a fog, like invisible chains, preventing the door that has always been ready to open from revealing itself fully in your reality. But the cards stress this: the key, the switch that opens the new chapter, has always been with you, always waiting there. And when you release the bindings of the past, when your heart is ready, you will see that sign shine unmistakably clear, and from that moment, the new life will begin. The message being delivered here is strikingly clear. It would truly be a tragedy if you allowed yourself to remain bound by the limits your own heart has placed upon you. But the good news is this: the image of you in the future shows that you will indeed find a way to break free from those invisible chains. You will hold in your hands the very key that sets you free. This means that all that was once hazy, tangled, and mysterious without resolution will begin to become clear. A truth will be revealed, a cause identified, an important decision made, a change enacted, a shift of fate will take place, and all of it will finally take on a concrete, unmistakable form. When that happens, the road ahead of you will feel so much lighter. Life will flow with greater ease, and you will live more freely, more expansively, more open to the fullness of existence. At your core, you have always been someone generous, someone with a spirit that is open and expansive. Yet, because of what you have been through, because of the wounds and the layers of trials that pressed down on you, you were forced to wear an invisible suit of armor to shield your heart. Earlier I spoke of that armor, and now once again the cards reaffirm it. The entire invisible armor that has weighed upon you will gradually dissolve. And when it is gone, your natural generosity, your innate openness, will return. You will be yourself again, living with ease, with tolerance, with lightness, with authenticity, no longer chained by the instinct to defend or the fear of being hurt. This feeling is almost impossible to fully put into words, but I want to describe it like this. It is as if on a clear day, with the sky wide open and no clouds above, you close your eyes and let the sunlight pour directly onto your eyelids. You know the sun is impossibly far away, millions of miles distant, a space so vast it cannot be measured. And yet, simply by standing beneath it, instantly the light, the warmth, spreads across your whole body. You feel life itself flowing into you with every breath. That gentle warmth, that radiant brilliance, is so powerful that it feels as if the sun is right there beside you, close enough to touch, even though in truth it rests far beyond reach. And the message wishes to tell you this. You too will be like that. You will have the ability to receive, to absorb powerful and pristine streams of energy, just like the light of the sun. You will be able to draw toward you and hold on to the very things your heart truly longs for, making them your own. You have always carried this ability within you. It has always been a part of your essence. It is only because of the chains of the past that it has not yet been fully unlocked. But once you turn your entire focus, your entire gaze back toward yourself, you will recognize that this power is already flowing through you, ready to shine forth. That is why the message has been so persistent, repeating again and again. Do not let your heart be swept away by others. Do not let your attention scatter into what lies outside of you. Place yourself first. Turn the arrow of your awareness back toward your own being. Let yourself be the center. Let yourself be nourished, protected, and given the space to grow. When you truly live by the principle of putting yourself first, you will come to realize that everything you need has always been within reach. And from that moment, the path ahead of you will blaze open, bright, clear, and light. And so, the vision that your guardians are sending about your future is this: the life that lies before you will no longer be a repetition of what is happening now. It will be a true transformation, a change that begins deep within the soul and radiates outward through the body. It is not just about a shift in moods or thoughts, but a metamorphosis that unites both the heart and the physical form. For some of you, this will even manifest as tangible changes in your body itself, as though you are undergoing a process of renewal, a recreation, reshaping you into someone profoundly different from who you are today. And this transformation will be felt in the most simple, intimate experiences of everyday life. For instance, you may find that the meals you once considered ordinary now taste extraordinarily delicious, that you savor every flavor with heightened clarity, that joy itself infuses each bite. You may discover that you sleep more deeply, slipping into rest with ease and awakening with a body that feels lighter, refreshed, brimming with vitality. These small but striking shifts are the signs that your inner energy has been freed, that balance is being restored, and that your soul is truly being healed. In addition, another image arises with striking clarity. It is the sense that you always carry something with you, as though without it you would feel uneasy, unsafe, incomplete. It could be a bag, a familiar object, or some item you have come to treat as inseparable from yourself, something you feel you must always have nearby in order to calm your heart. Yet deep within, you secretly long for the day when you no longer need to depend on it, when you no longer have to carry it just to feel at peace. And the cards affirm that in the future, that day will come, you will truly no longer need it. You will be strong enough, whole enough, serene enough to walk forward without that material symbol of reliance. If hearing this message touches something within you, if it resonates in your chest, then know that it is meant for you. I will close here the reading for those of you who chose pile 2. If any part of today's message softened your heart, or stirred a thought, or awakened an emotion within you, leave just a small mark, a symbol, or a few words of sharing. Even the gentlest sign is enough for me to know that the message from the universe has reached the one who needed to hear it. Thank you deeply for walking with me all the way to the end of this reading. Until we meet again in the next reading. Hello to those of you who chose pile 3. Thank you for your patience. Now I will begin the reading for those who have selected the third pile. May this reading bring you healing, new awareness, and moments overflowing with love. The theme here is the message from your guardians about your future. First, I will look from the perspective of your guardians to see what they wish to convey about the path you have walked so far. The message I receive is that you are in a state of being held back, as though stopped in your tracks. You feel that things are not unfolding the way you hoped, not aligning with your inner wishes. There is a vast distance, a deep gap, between the desires burning within your heart and the reality playing out before your eyes. This gap leaves you unsettled, restless, aching with longing, because your heart's wishes still feel so far away. I sense clearly the imbalance, the disconnect, between your heart and the picture of reality around you. In addition, there is a strong impression here that you are wanting to decide something, to bring closure, to act with finality. And yet, you hesitate, you linger, unable to conclude. It may be something you yearn to finish, something you long to end, but it stretches on endlessly, unresolved, without a clear outcome. This loop is what keeps you tethered, unable to move forward. The card makes this very visible, and I see it clearly as well. For example, you may be on the edge of making an important decision, but cannot bring yourself to finalize it, or you may want to close a chapter, but cannot manage to seal it. You are caught in indecision, hesitation, a lack of resolve, or it may be that you truly want to end something, but you feel powerless, as though you have no way to alter the circumstances, as though you are helpless. Another message here is that you seem to be trapped by a single problem, a single obstacle. And if only this one thing were lifted, everything else would begin to flow, your dreams would come true, and your path would open wide. But right now it feels like a roadblock, a closed gate, a forbidding sign that bars you from taking even one more step. Added to this, the energy shows that your thoughts are leaning toward the negative more often than not. It even suggests that you may be in a state of self-imprisonment, like a trap of your own making, or perhaps it is that external influences, forces beyond your control, are interfering and stripping away your sense of agency. And so you fall easily into self-blame, into cycles of self-criticism, turning inward with harshness and even self-hatred, spinning endlessly in the spiral of reproach. What seems very likely is that this is not something new, not a fleeting issue, but a state that has stretched over a medium or even a long period of time. It has made you feel as though you are facing a problem without resolution, as though you are in a tunnel with no light at the end. This circumstance has brought immense pressure, burden, and strain, leaving both your mind and body exhausted. And the reading here makes it evident that you have indeed been, and still are, in a condition of depletion, drained in both soul and body. And here, I also see another layer revealed about your personality, about who you truly are at your core. Within your very essence, there seems to flow a philosophical current, a depth of contemplation that not everyone possesses. You are someone who habitually reflects, who thinks deeply and persistently, and sometimes those very thoughts become burdens, turning into restlessness that pulls you into spirals difficult to escape. For instance, when something begins to trouble your heart, even if it is only like a small pebble dropped into your soul, you cannot simply ignore it or let it slide. You cannot easily say, "It's fine, never mind," and move on. For you, that is truly difficult. And so, you always have the tendency to dig deeper into the matter, to search relentlessly until you uncover an answer that feels sufficient. Only then can you rest in peace. But it is also precisely this trait that makes you feel so very weary. The energy here shows clearly that you have often confessed within yourself, "I don't want to think anymore," and yet you cannot stop thinking. You remain caught in the loop. You know very well that this is becoming a barrier, one of the very reasons slowing your steps, at times even blocking the path to your own dreams. And what I perceive very clearly is that the root of this lies in the environment that nurtured you, in the way you were raised and brought up. You are the type of person who grew up in a foundation that demanded effort, endurance, pushing through with all your strength, patience to overcome. Everything for you was built upon persistence and perseverance. And that very imprint has followed you until now, making it so that you almost never allow yourself true rest, rarely giving your mind permission to release, to loosen its grip. Within that picture, whenever you sense something out of place, or whenever something arises within you that stirs unease, you cannot look away. You react, and often you overreact. You feel compelled to confront it, to find a way to handle it, to resolve it at all costs. And this tendency toward overreaction often drives you into corners, into tension so strong that it exhausts you completely. And still, you do not let go. You continue to strain, to hold yourself upright, to face it head on. Seeing this, I feel such deep compassion for you. And there is something else that comes through with striking clarity. You are, in truth, an extraordinarily sensitive and refined soul. And it is precisely this sensitivity that makes everything feel heavier, more intense. It is as though you were born with a pair of highly attuned antennas, or like a finely tuned scanner with the highest resolution able to read, to sense, to pick up on even the most subtle layers of energy that exist around you. Not everyone belongs to this group, but for those of you who feel this resonates, understand that this is a very special part of who you are. You are born carrying this scanner within you, an intricate sensory system, almost as though it were pre-installed, giving you the ability to detect and perceive every nuance, every faint shift in the atmosphere and in the people around you. And because of this, there are times when you are easily overwhelmed, easily fatigued, yet at the same time it reveals you as someone with profound depth, a heart that is easily moved, and an intuition that is strikingly powerful. Even for those of you who might believe you are not so fragile, not so sensitive, at the very least you carry a certain sharpness, a particular kind of perceptiveness that is undeniable. Your intuition is razor sharp, your capacity to feel so refined that you can sense what is about to unfold before it even arrives. Every reaction, every ripple from the environment, from other people, from situations, all of it enters you instantly, as if projected directly into both your mind and your heart in the same breath. What this means is that you are not only living with the weight of your own feelings, but you are simultaneously carrying the feelings of others, the moods of the environment, the vibrations of whatever surrounds you. And then, on top of that, you are constantly trying to balance both currents, the inner and the outer, just to exist in equilibrium. That act alone consumes an incredible amount of energy, a depletion that is anything but small. The message from your guardians shows that you have been living in this state for a very long time, indeed, perhaps for as long as you can remember. This has always been the nature of your experience. And because of that, when you are forced to face situations where you feel blocked, restrained, trapped without a way forward, or when you find yourself in stories that feel endless, with no clear resolution, the drain on your spirit and body is magnified many times over compared to the average person. It seems as though you are made to endure a far heavier kind of exhaustion than others, because you are already delicate, already expending energy constantly, continuously, simply by living as yourself. The challenges you are facing can take many forms: worries about the future, complications in your relationships, pressures tied to honor and reputation, difficulties with finances, or burdens connected to your work. All of these are already weighty concerns on their own, yet because you are so sensitive, so finely attuned, you feel everything on a much deeper level than most, and that makes it all too easy for you to be pulled into the whirlpool of your thoughts. You may often feel as though you are caught in storms of the mind, with thoughts circling endlessly, haunting you, leaving you yearning to escape but unable to break free. And so, at times, all you can do is cry out that you truly do not want to think anymore, that you do not want to do anything else. You just want to retreat, to hide away from reality for a while, to grant yourself a sacred pause, a moment of absolute stillness where you don't have to face, don't have to calculate, don't have to act, so that both your heart and your mind can rest. I can feel very clearly that many of you here are genuinely longing for such stillness, yearning for it from the very depths of your soul, craving a stretch of time in which everything can stop, no thoughts, no actions, no confrontations, as a way to escape the weight that reality has pressed upon you. And in the very moment I speak this out loud, the energy even carries with it a sense of ache, of a choking back of tears from deep within the spirit, showing just how powerful and profound this longing truly is. And yet, what is remarkable here is that the wish card has appeared, not merely to point out the distance between your reality and your dreams. It is not simply a mirror reflecting disparity that leaves you feeling powerless. Instead, it comes as a reminder that within you already lies the power to transform your wishes into reality. That capacity has always been present, always alive within you. This card quietly affirms, you are not just someone who dreams, you are someone who can achieve, who can bring those very dreams into being. It is like a revelation, a whisper that the door has never been locked, and that you hold the ability to turn the key and open the way forward. And now, in this very moment, I will allow the guardians to guide the way, to illuminate the vision of your future, to show what lies ahead of you. Let us step together into the next part, where I will unveil the picture of your future as seen through the light and messages from your guardians. Oh, how truly wonderful this is! The message being sent to you here, first and foremost, is about what you are currently facing, matters that remain unresolved, situations that feel like they have no end, circumstances in which you feel completely powerless, unable to maneuver or find a way out, enveloped in a fog where no clear destination is in sight. I can sense that you have been carrying these burdens deep within your heart, holding them with a heaviness that weighs upon your spirit. And not only that, but you have been shouldering all of it with utmost seriousness, with a weight upon your soul even greater than what those around you may realize. Rarely do you find moments of true peace, and nearly every single day seems to pass without the gift of ease or relaxation. Yet here, the message that comes through is this: just a little longer. Only a little longer now. When I look at these cards, both of them reveal images of turbulent, restless waves, never calm or still. They mirror the journey you have been on all this time, drifting endlessly upon stormy seas, tossed back and forth, seasick, unsteady, struggling to brace yourself and hold on for survival. And yet now, your guardians send word that very soon, you will leave that boat behind, you will reach the shore, you will finally arrive at the place you have long awaited. And that very destination is symbolized by the wish card, the card of dreams fulfilled, of desires manifesting into reality. The message repeats over and over, just a little longer, and your dream will be within reach. Even more than that, the spread reveals cards of immense power, judgment, the card of divine decree, resurrection, and awakening, heralding rebirth and renewal, the blessing card, the gift of grace and fortune bestowed upon you, and also the card that signifies a new story beginning, the unfolding of a new chapter, the opening of a new journey. Together, they emphasize with certainty that what you have long yearned for will indeed come into being, that what once felt like mere fantasy or unattainable dream will finally take shape in this world. This is not just a promise whispered, but a declaration affirmed. Only a little more, and you will be liberated. You will find peace for your heart. Yet, there is also an essential truth appearing here: karma. The message reveals that what you are enduring now, the hardships, the blockages, the weight of sorrow, are deeply intertwined with karmic ties. This is not only about what you have done in this lifetime, but may also be connected to what you carried before rebirth, or the continuation of threads from a past life, or even the inheritance of energy from your ancestral line. Some souls carry unfinished tasks from prior incarnations, others bear fragments of energy from their lineage, and for you, In this moment, these difficulties are arising as a sacred mechanism to guide you toward resolution, purification, and the releasing of karmic weight. This may sound difficult to accept, but this is the direct message. The pain, the exhaustion, the heavy burdens you are carrying are in truth the very opportunity to repay, to release, to dissolve, and to close the old cycle. And because of that, when the destined moment arrives, your wishes, your ideals, and the visions you have held so long in your heart will be able to reveal themselves, to come forth and take form, to manifest as reality in its truest sense. To be certain, I continue the reading and draw more cards to look more deeply into this karmic thread, to see with greater clarity what is unfolding behind the veil. 2 cards leap out, and as soon as I see them, the energy is so powerful, so immense, that it makes me exclaim aloud, "Oh, the energy here is overwhelming." First, earlier I spoke of karma. In my perception, karma is very much like a kind of time limit, an expiration date that one must pass through. Karma is something no one wishes to taste, no one desires to endure, and if it were possible, everyone would want it to be as light and as short as it could be. Yet the truth is, karma always has an end point, a stopping mark. When you have walked through it completely, when you have tasted all of it, when you have journeyed the full cycle of its wheel, then right beyond it, you are granted a period of true freedom, a span of life where you can experience genuine ease, true serenity, a peace that settles deep into your soul. That is something I feel here with undeniable clarity. However, the process of dissolving karma is by no means simple. It is not only about enduring, not only about bearing the weight, but its true beginning lies in your awakening, in your recognition, in the clear seeing of the nature of the karma you carry. And sometimes, as soon as you awaken to it, as soon as you become aware of it, another feeling arises. You begin to resent your karma. You resent it for why you must suffer, why you were born into such circumstances. You may have asked yourself, why me? Why must life treat me with such harshness? There may have been moments when you even wished, deep down, that if only you could have been born as someone else, in another circumstance, then perhaps everything would not have turned out this way. I can sense so clearly that you too have been there. You have raged, you have resented, you have cried out in bitterness against your fate. And yet, at a deeper level, what your guardians reveal is that you have already begun, slowly, perhaps without even naming it, to recognize that these very trials are in fact the path through which you are meant to dissolve and release your karmic ties. You may never have thought of yourself as consciously aware of this, yet you have been walking through experiences rich enough, complete enough, to purify and carry you beyond. And for many of you here, there is even full awareness, the clarity that this is your lesson, this is the challenge you are destined to overcome. Because you feel with such undeniable certainty that it is precisely this karma that binds you, that restrains you, that has been the invisible cord keeping you from stepping into freedom, keeping you from living fully in alignment with your true self and your dreams. The message is strikingly clear. When you change the way you face this karma, your reality itself begins to transform. All it requires is a shift in perception, a shift in the way you respond, and suddenly the entire landscape of your life begins to move in wondrous ways. Karma is not an unbreakable shackle, it is a lesson. And when you change your attitude, when you change the way you walk alongside it, you unlock the doorway to a new reality. This karma may take many forms. For some, it manifests in family relationships, those bindings, those wounds, the weight of responsibilities, or the crushing force of expectations carried from the family line. For others, it is none other than the self, it is the limiting beliefs, the inner prisons, the invisible bars of one's own making. Each story differs, each soul carries its own unique imprint, and yet all trace back to the same essence. Karma is the very force that constrains you, the very chain that keeps you tethered. And here, the guardians speak with absolute clarity. This is your karma. This is the lesson you were born to resolve, to heal, to transform. Therefore, once you shift the way you stand before what is limiting you, you will break free, and the very fabric of your reality will shift with you. This is the crucial turning point the reading longs for you to truly grasp, the moment of deep understanding that opens the gateway toward liberation. And the message being delivered to you in this part is this. You do not need to try to solve everything perfectly. You do not need to force yourself to change the entire outcome in its entirety. That may sound strange, even a little difficult to grasp at first, but the energy here speaks with undeniable clarity. You do not need to change the final result. All you need is to change your heart, to shift the feeling within your soul. As long as your heart turns, as long as your perspective shifts, that alone is already the transcendence, that alone is already the release. When the heart transforms, the outcome may naturally transform as well, but the true essence does not lie in forcing the outer circumstance to bend or to be rewritten. It lies in allowing your soul to genuinely see, to acknowledge, and to finally step out of the bondage that has held you. The message also reveals that the very reason you are feeling blocked, entangled, and stuck right now can be approached in a much lighter way. You only need to try, even just a little, only to the extent you can manage. Try to view it as a valuable experience, a lesson that life itself has placed before you so that you may train, so that you may strengthen. As soon as you can see it as part of your lesson, as something you are meant to learn from, the energy begins to change. On the contrary, if you continue to pour your energy into resentment, into hatred, into the endless repetition of thoughts like this is all because of, and that's why my life is like this, then in the end, it is you yourself who will be wounded the most deeply. When energy becomes absorbed into such negative emotions, it not only exhausts you further, but also causes the wound within you to grow heavier, deeper, more consuming. Indeed, in this reading, I see cards appearing that are not at all easy, cards that carry harsh tones, some even fierce and merciless, reflecting that you truly have gone through a grueling journey, so arduous at times that you have felt like giving up, like letting go, like stopping altogether, no longer wanting to hear or face anything further. I understand that feeling, for what you are carrying, what you are living, is karma itself. It permeates your entire being. It seeps into every part of your inner world, leaving you with the thought that you cannot possibly bear anymore. Yet your guardians affirm with conviction, everything is drawing near to its conclusion. You are approaching the stopping point. The digestion, the purification, the cleansing and dissolving of that karma is almost complete. It is right there before you, so close that it only takes a little more, just a little further, and you will finally break free. And one more point revealed here. The spread shows that you have already begun to recognize what is truly important. You have started to become aware of what holds real value, of what the true essence is, where the key lies. The presence of the King of Cups in this reading is proof that you possess the ability to govern your emotions, that you can rise to a maturity of spirit, mastering the turbulence of your inner world. This is the flowering, the elevation that comes after enduring so many trials. Therefore, what is necessary now is to stop blaming karma, to stop binding yourself to the excuse that everything is only because of karma and that therefore you cannot move forward. The message is crystal clear. You do not need to change the outcome. You only need to change the way you perceive it, to change your heart. When you shift, when you look again with new eyes, all the unease and all the fear will naturally fall away, shedding themselves from you like an old layer that has lost its worth. It will leave you in the most natural way, just as fresh new skin pushes away the old. You truly have walked a great journey, a long and grueling path, like the saying that in order for a child to grow strong, they must be sent out into the world. You are that child, and you have gone through a road of trials and harsh lessons. That very journey has shaped you, has forged you into who you are now, richer in depth, stronger in spirit, and ready to embrace an entirely new future. And it is precisely because of everything you have endured that, in the end, you will reap the result. You will arrive at the place where your wish becomes reality. The image of the wish card shining here is testimony that at last you will touch your dream. You will reach the very thing your soul has yearned for. The message being given to you is to direct your consciousness toward that, toward the destination to which every trial has been leading you. Let your heart say, so it was for me that this experience appeared. Because if it had been someone else, they may never have been able to endure, to overcome. It is only because I had the strength to carry it that this path came to me. And that is the way you are meant to see it. The reading reveals with absolute clarity that you will be revived. You will be reborn. The card of resurrection, rebirth, has appeared, a reminder that you will surely be lifted up again, stepping into a new cycle. It may not be easy to hear right now, and to be told to immediately think positively may indeed feel impossible, but the message remains unmistakable. You need to gradually begin to nurture a positive state of mind, to cultivate transformation within your thoughts. Just a little each day, simply holding that state in your actions, in your steps forward, and you will begin to see yourself shift. And as you shift, even the things you once thought had no connection to karma at all will begin to move, to change for the better. Everything will start to grow brighter, and new doors will begin to open before you, one after another. This is happening because the process of resolving karma is, in truth, your answer to the call rising from the deepest level of your subconscious. Human beings, by their very nature, live as much as 95% of their lives from the unconscious, while the conscious mind we so often believe to be in control accounts for only the smallest fraction, barely a single digit. It is astonishing when we realize that we are living mostly through the unconscious, through that hidden flow running beneath the surface, not merely through the conscious part we identify with. And when you are dissolving karma, you are touching the very depths of that unconscious flow. You are responding to the voice of your innermost being. In that moment, you draw closer than ever before to your truest self, to your original essence, untouched, unclouded, unveiled. Your guardians further emphasize that karma itself is resonance. It is the echo of the unconscious. It is like a rhythm sounding from the deepest places, far beyond the reach of ordinary awareness. This may sound difficult to grasp, but let me explain it more simply through an example. Imagine a newborn child. At the very moment of birth, that baby has no sense of self, no capacity to direct thought, no awareness of ego. The infant lives purely through instinct. When hungry, it cries. When hot, it cries. When cold, it cries. When sleepy, it cries. Everything is reaction, a natural rhythm of instinct and subconscious flow. And yet, as human beings grow, along with the development of consciousness and the shaping forces of society, we learn how to control instinct, how to restrain ourselves, how to behave in ways deemed suitable for our surroundings. And it is in that very process that we slowly drift farther and farther from our ability to listen to the subconscious, farther from our primal instincts, the original depth of being. We gradually lose the capacity to hear the call of that hidden inner voice, no longer able to easily sense those raw, primordial messages, and thus we find ourselves estranged from our truest essence. The message here is this: through the process of karmic resolution, you are being given the chance to reattach that severed cord, to move gradually closer again to your original instinct, to the deepest voice of your soul. And it is precisely then that you will not only overcome karma, but you will also rediscover yourself, finding true freedom from within. What is being conveyed is that in order to truly touch liberation, to draw nearer to the soul's most profound essence, there must always be a progression, a step-by-step journey. And this time, the great theme you are placed within is none other than the journey of dissolving karma. Because for you, the pressure from the outside world has been immense, far heavier upon your shoulders than it has been for others. And so you have endured countless wounds to the part of yourself that is self-aware, to the conscious layer of identity, the part of you that always knows itself, that always perceives itself. And as I said from the very beginning, you are someone inherently delicate, sensitive, with an intuition far sharper than most, so you not only feel your own emotions, but you also continually bear the weight of others' emotions. You live constantly with both layers pressing upon you, carrying both your feelings and those of others, forced to navigate through them simultaneously. And this, in turn, has worn down your energy, has left you living as though you are always drained, as though every step forward must be dragged, forced, taken with great effort just to move a little ahead. This sensation is no different from living under a constant disadvantage, a perpetual burden. It is as though while others walk lightly across flat ground, you have been placed on a steep, vertical slope, compelled to use every ounce of strength to run upward against the incline. You have to strain, to summon all of your energy just to move ahead, while those around you continue to stroll effortlessly forward. And because of this, there are many moments when you feel as though your dreams are impossibly distant, when the things you long for appear unattainable, existing in a place far away, forever beyond your reach. But the important truth here is this: it is precisely because of your sensitivity, your delicacy, and your profound intuition that you have the ability to look directly at karma, to see into the lessons, to recognize them sooner, and thus be able to transcend them. If someone were too careless, too indifferent, they would never notice such things. They would never perceive where the lesson lies that leads to purification, nor where the path opens toward rising above. These words may sound heavy, but they are truth. For you possess a very rare gift, the capacity to dive deep into the innermost reaches of your soul, to touch those layers within that not everyone is capable of reaching. I have said this before, and here the message is repeated once more. You were born as if carrying within yourself an exquisitely fine scanner, one that reads, that senses every flow, every current of energy, every subtle undertone, no matter how faint. It could even be said that you can perceive the lessons and the struggles of others. You can see where their obstacles lie, where their trials emerge, and through that vision, you hold a transparent, crystal clear understanding. This is a gift, but it is also a burden. That is why the message emphasizes so strongly that you are someone who can recognize karma sooner, someone who can resolve it faster, because you see it clearly, you understand it thoroughly, you dive deeper than anyone else. And because of this, you have moved more quickly on the path of release. Only a little more now, just a short stretch remains before you step out of this cycle completely. Your guardians are speaking to you, saying, you have walked a journey that was incredibly harsh, incredibly heavy, yet you have come so very close to the destination. This message carries with it profound acknowledgement, deep comfort, and also a firm affirmation. You have done so well, you have traveled so far, and now the final passage lies open before you. And so, the message given to you at this moment is this. You are standing right before the doorway you were always meant to touch, right at the threshold you have been searching for through this long and arduous journey. You are so close now that only a single step remains, and the only thing left is to receive it. They speak with great clarity. The hardest thing for you is not the battle itself, not the act of conquering, but rather learning how to accepting the present moment, accepting all that has happened and all that is unfolding now. And when you can truly open your heart to receive, in that very instant, all that belongs to the deepest wish within you, all that you have long yearned for and painted in your soul's vision of life, the image of the wish card will begin to manifest, descending from the realm of dreams into tangible reality. Regarding karma, there are many souls who, if they cannot resolve it in this lifetime, must carry it forward, must bear its weight into the next. This is a perspective that some of you may not wish to hear, may resist believing, or perhaps do not believe at all. If you feel you do not wish to take this in, then simply set it aside. But here, the message that is being delivered specifically for you is different. You are not one who will leave unfinished karma to drift into another life. You are the one chosen to complete it, to cleanse it entirely, to bring it to its close here, in this very lifetime, leaving no remnant of burden behind. This means that the pure energy, the liberation you achieve, is not only for yourself, but also radiates outward, reflecting and flowing into the generations to come, your children, your grandchildren, and beyond. That energy is like a wave of resonance, an echo spreading outward, with the power to alter the current of the entire ancestral line. At times you may feel as though you are bearing on your shoulders a cross too heavy, as though you have been bound to carry a destiny far beyond what any human should have to endure. And yet, the message here repeats over and over with certainty. You are nearly finished. You are about to step across to the other shore. The wish card has appeared, and the card of resurrection, rebirth, is also present. Together they declare again and again that you now stand at the edge of a great transformation, a monumental turning point. This is the moment when your wish will manifest, and not in one aspect alone, but in both the material and the spiritual, the life of the body and the life of the soul. This is the chapter of destiny's reversal, the era of profound renewal and change for you. The message closes with the emphatic reminder that your future is one of complete transformation, of true metamorphosis. This journey has been weighty, filled with immense depth, and it is nearly impossible to capture the entirety of its meaning in words. But if you have listened all the way until now, and if at any point in this message your heart has stirred, if your mind has grown clearer, then receive it as the gift meant only for you. I now bring to a close the reading for those who chose pile 3. If your heart has felt soothed or awakened by any part of today's message, do not hesitate to leave behind a greeting, a symbol, or any expression you wish to share. To me, each response from you is a living heartbeat, proof that the invisible threads between us are indeed real, alive, and connected. Thank you for listening with the fullness of your heart. Until we meet again in the readings yet to come.